Hello everyone, this is Mr. Fitri here, and we are going to start with our first unit. As you can see, this unit is made up of vocabulary. Now, the objective for this unit is to learn critical vocabulary which will be used throughout the term. So, what I've noticed over the past 2 years of teaching these courses is that there are some vocab words that we will talk about frequently or often that maybe some students don't know or don't understand or are unsure of. So the goal here is to start off with these vocab words so we have a good grasp of them, so that as we discuss them further, as we incorporate them into our lessons, we'll have a better idea of the vocab words and the bigger ideas and themes of the class. So, that will be important. There will also be a couple career vocab words. So, maybe you're interested in a career or a job in science. So perhaps this will allow you to think about what career possibilities there are. What you might want to study, make a life from. Now, really briefly, I'm sorry this is taking a little long, but I've provided a worksheet, okay? So please write the definition from the PowerPoint, from this video, on the worksheet. And I would really recommend translating the word, the vocab word, into Thai. I've made a column for you to do that. I think it would make it easier for you to understand the topic, okay? Now, we're going to have 3 days or 3 videos for vocabulary. I want to make these videos short and not too bothersome, since the online lessons can be a little difficult. So there'll be 3 vocab videos, and then when we're back at school, the goal is to have a short test on them. If we don't go back to school or whatever happens, we'll make either an online test or something for you to have an assessment or a test of these vocab words. All right, so let's get into it. First of all, we have astronomy. Astronomy studies space and the universe. All right? So, we will look at the word universe, but it essentially means everything. You and me, the earth, the moon, the planets, the sun, the stars, etc. Now, the first career vocab word is an astronomer. An astronomer is a person who studies astronomy. Okay? Now, as we go through these videos, I probably won't spend much time between the words, but you may, of course, pause the video, write down the definitions, and then continue on. Next one, atom, the smallest unit of matter. So atoms are going to make up everything. All right, you and me, tables, books, the air we breathe, okay? And as we'll learn later, they are made up of electrons, protons, and neutrons. But just wait till I think the last video for those definitions. Next is atmosphere. This is Earth's outermost layer, and that is made up of air and contains Earth's weather. Okay? So it contains air and it affects the weather. Now, as you can see from the picture, there are different layers of the atmosphere. We won't really get into those at all, but I want you to be aware for perhaps future science classes that there are different layers, and they do affect the Earth differently, have different effects on the Earth. Next is the biosphere. This is the part of Earth that contains living organisms. Okay? Living organisms. Again, you and me. Our dogs, our cats, elephants, monkeys, fish, ants, plankton in the ocean, okay? Anything that lives and breathes is part of the biosphere, including plants. Next one is compress. To compress is squeezing to make smaller. Okay? As you can see from that little GIF, they're squeezing the ball, making it smaller. Constructive. Okay, we're going to talk about constructive forces within and on Earth's surface, but typically this just means to build or form, all right? Typically over a period of time. Okay, so we could talk about constructing a home. All right, it's not done in a couple hours. It takes a long time. The same with the Earth and different features of the Earth. Right? It's taken millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of years in some instances for these constructive forces in Earth to change it. But again, we'll look at that later. Next is converge. Converge is to meet at a point. If you think about maybe we've all been to school, those outside of school near the Clong, there are 4 roads that converge at that little roundabout of sorts. Okay, so those roads are converging. If cars come down each of those roads, they will converge, come together at that point. Now we're going to get into the opposite of constructive and diverge. All right, destructive here is to cause damage. All right, to reduce to pieces. Just like the little GIF there, a girl is swinging the guitar, smashing the lamp. All right, destructive behavior, breaking it into pieces. Again, diverge, separate, go in different directions. All right. Again, if you think about those roads in front of school, all right, if those cars converge there, they choose their destination, whatever it may be, they will separate. They'll go in different directions. All right. Next, decrease. This is a vocab word that is not only applicable for science, but also in your English education generally. So to decrease is to become smaller, all right, in size or amount, okay? Now you see from the picture, we've also got the opposite, which is increase. We will look at that later. Next is ecology. This is the study of what happens between living things and the environment. So how do we as humans affect the environment? That's part of ecology. We could also think about how do animals affect the environment? Again, part of ecology. And this could be a positive thing or a negative thing, you know? Humans, of course, have shown that we can be destructive towards the environment, you know? Taking down trees, planting crops that aren't natural for the environment. All right, polluting, of course, is the main one. But also animals, all right? Animals have a benefit to the environment, and they can also be destructive. It just depends on the situation. Same with humans, of course, too. We can do great things to help the environment, all right? And of course, the environment gives us a lot too. The basics of life: water, food, and of course the effects that causes on us. So now the person that studies ecology is an ecologist. All right, again, a person who studies ecology. So they're looking at those relationships between living things, animals, humans, and the environment, and vice versa, how the environment affects living things. Next, an element. This is the most basic form of matter. Okay? Now, I'm sure you have seen the periodic table of elements, all right? So we have to consider that everything we see and touch is made up of elements, all right? Energy, the ability to produce, change, or do work, all right? And we'll talk a little bit about energy and how it's not only used to produce, say, electricity, of course, but also to power our bodies and ourselves. So this will be kind of a definition that starts in this term and continues into the next term. Last one, easy peasy, is exterior, and that just means outside. Next, fluid. A fluid is something that has no fixed shape and changes easily. Right? A gas or a liquid. Okay, think about, let's say, water. Okay, you can pour it. You can put water into any vessel, right? A big jar, a small cup, a bottle, a bowl, and it's going to form that shape, okay? Same thing with gas, all right? It's going to conform to the place it is put. Next is force. This is the push or the pull exerted on an object. Now this is going to be our last vocab word for this this class. All right, I'm trying to keep these lessons short, but because of the introduction, this is a little longer than I hope the next two will be. So the last one here, gas. This is matter that conforms to the shape of the container, okay? Again, kind of an offshoot of a fluid, all right? So an example of gas is oxygen or hydrogen. Now this picture here, we're going to see this picture 2 more times here because we're starting here with gas, all right? We'll look at liquid and solid, all right? These are the states of matter, all right? And you see in the little boxes on the right-hand side are these basically what would be the molecules or the particles that make up a gas, a liquid, and a solid. And you see how the gas, the molecules, or the particles are quite far apart. Within a liquid, they are much closer together. And then within a solid, they are really close together. All right? So that's going to help us define and understand the different states of matter. Okay? Gas, liquid, and solid. Alrighty, so that's that for today. I hope you got all those vocab words down. Please make sure you translate them into Thai. I think that will be really helpful for you. Again, I hope you enjoy this, and I will see you or talk to you in our next class. Have a good day.